Welcome, race fans, to iRacing Happy Hour, live today from Lincoln Speedway in Abbottstown, Pennsylvania. And a good afternoon or good evening to wherever you may be in the world. James Pike alongside Terry Radford here as we get to bring you some pro late model action today on this iRacing Happy Hour. Terry, these are the big cars amongst the World of Outlaws contingent, and a lot of fun to sling around so many of the dirt tracks on the service.
Yes, sir. It's definitely happy hour. It's not happy hour for the people in Pennsylvania trying to travel on I-95, but it's always happy hour in iRacing, especially when I get to call some dirt racing with James Pike.
Oh, I'm not that good. Don't put that evil on me. But we are going to have some fun today. We're going to enjoy the Dirt Pro late models at Lincoln Speedway for a little bit of fun. We're also going to be giving away a few iRacing credits to the winners of our race. So a little, I guess, lucky bonus for being the lucky split that we have picked here. But news for you all. Let's take a look at the schedule for the upcoming World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series. Will start on July 10th, Monday night at Volusia, and run us all the way through the middle of September at the place where all dirt roads lead, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yes, sir, and there is a ton of great talent that's going to be in this field. Going to Eldora, Lincoln Speedway, Cedar Lake, there's Knoxville. How can you forget Knoxville? It's one of the greatest dirt track races on the planet. This is going to be an amazing series to tune into and watch here on iRacing, Twitch and YouTube and all the places you can find it. July 10th, you got to come be a part of it.
A lot of really great dirt tracks across the country lined up there. Fairbury American, Legion Speedway, Port Royal, Knoxville, Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55 in Missouri, Williams Grove, Eldora, Lincoln Speedway that we'll see here today, and then the dirt track in Charlotte too. So much fun that we can expect, and you'll be able to watch that Monday nights, 9 p.m., twitch.tv/iRacing. So much action coming your way in that series, and so much fun that we have ourselves ready to go for here. Gonna have a little bit of heat racing coming up, gonna have a little bit of action at Lincoln Speedway coming up, and it's sort of a traditional dirt format, dirt racing of course. Less emphasis on time qualifying, Terry, more emphasis on can you race your way into the feature to make it happen to get the checkered flag at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big feature that we're going to see into this, building in with the heat races, building in with who's the fastest qualifier to get their way in. You know, you have to dodge every single aspect of the racetrack. You have to race the track, but you have to race the others as well. That's the great part about dirt racing. The track evolves from start to finish, and you might start on a slick track, and you might finish not on a slick track, and the cars are going to wiggle around a ton. There's a lot of good talent in that field. Much more talented than the two of us, but broadcast-wise, I think we're pretty solid.
You make a good point in that if you haven't had the chance to watch a lot of dirt racing on iRacing, the groove does end up moving to a different place, and it ends up working out differently than what we see with the pavement. And that's one thing that I think a lot of these drivers will be, aware of, but it's something that you don't necessarily notice all that much if you don't run or spend a lot of time on dirt. And then, let's not forget, Terry, there were a whole bevy of updates that were made on the dirt side when we got the build a few weeks ago. So might be early days for some of these drivers in this field to get their current track at the new dirt racing that we're seeing here in the sim.
Yeah, and one of them was the tire model, where you actually have a difference in what the car does with the track. I mean, you can go up and you can go down a catfish, you can go up and run the cushion. You have many different options on the dirt side of things, more than what you get in the asphalt side of it. You can't necessarily go rip the high side at a Nashville or places like that. You have to be on the bottom, predominantly middle to bottom groove. But in dirt racing, you'll have 4 or 5 wide of cars all the way scattered around the racetrack. And today here at Lincoln, you're going to see a ton of drivers trying to get to the wall, trying to stay on the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see what the battle for the lead is going to be like. Maybe we'll see a slide job or maybe just a dump and run for some iRacing credits.
This is a small track. This is a flat track. You make a good point, Terry. I don't know if Martinsville is totally an apt.
It's close. It's close.
Maybe not quite as much as Williams Grove with those long straightaways that you bomb down, but same sort of thing as we now take a look at Lincoln Speedway. And Terry, tell us a little bit more about this track in the Keystone State.
Yeah, it's only 3/10 of a mile. I mean, the seat capacity is only 8,200. That's your local short track. It was built in 1939. It hosted cup races in the 50s and 60s. So where the action is the attraction. That's the motto here at Lincoln Speedway. And we're going to see a ton of action today. And the attraction's iRacing, where you can get 40% off to be a new member.
You can indeed get 40% off to be a new member. And also interesting to note that, back in the early days before NASCAR's modern era, this is one of a whole host of tracks that got the opportunity to host what was then the Grand National Series. So lots of fun here. Here's a look at our format for today. We're racing the Pro Dirt Late model. We'll have an 8-lap heat and a 10-lap consolation if we need it. The top 16 drivers would go to a 3-lap feature, but I can tell you we've got less than 16 cars in today's race, so you're going to see everybody in the feature. You are racing for your starting spot. If you're looking for this race amongst the official races on iRacing, if you have a Class C Dirt Oval license or higher, then you can jump in, and sessions launch every 2 hours. For those on the East Coast of the United States, it's every odd hour at the 30-minute mark.
It's going to be fun to see how these drivers get through the heat and the consolation here. You talked about we don't have 16 in here. This was split amongst 2 splits to put us there. But yeah, it's good to be a master of all traits when it comes to iRacing. You just want to be an oval person. You go sling some dirt. Go do jumpy trucks. Go race some road, which we'll see right after us with our good people. But we're going to get ready to show some qualifying action here, man. I hope.
Yeah, drivers making their laps now to set their starting positions for the heats, which will then lead to our feature in just a bit. So you got a good look at the format, a good look at what we should expect here, and also a good look at Adam Zellmer taking time around Lincoln Speedway.
What a line right there. He held that bottom real nice. You see him right here, going to get a good slide. He's going to go in a little traditional line here. We'll see people get about a foot or 2 lower than what he's doing here in that 5 machine, but getting that back end kicked out, carrying that speed, keeping that car turning. Little counter steer going on here. We talked about that before on a couple broadcasts with turning right to go left. Got the Cars motto out here, but that 5 looked awful fast.
It look awful fast here as everybody looks like they are done with their sessions, just about ready to go here for all the action, where the action is the attraction, Lincoln Speedway.
Yeah, it is.
Here. Yeah, no, that's I do rather like that a lot. 1 car left to take time. It's the number 3 of Eli Valentine, and because this is an official race, also worth noting that the car numbers for these drivers will line up in accordance with their iRating. So the highest rated driver in the field will be number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, down to the lowest rated driver in the field, which today is Jeffrey Davison, but never count anybody out in these dirt races. You can see a lot of craziness. Let's go ahead and take a look at our grid for this first heat. Eli Valentine starts alongside Stephen Wilson, Cody Heathcott, and Sylvain Sabaran will start in row 2. Mark Gebhardt and Jeffrey Davison, we just talked about him, Terry. They will round out the grid for heat number 1.
Yeah, heat number 1's got a good bit of talent in here. We'll see 6 of the very best here on the dirt side of it. It's going to go out here and take some time. I'm excited to see if Stephen Wilson will hang up here with Eli. Yeah, I'm curious if that is the Stephen Wilson from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, because if he's slinging some dirt, if he can sling dirt, you can sling dirt too. Go get a membership and get on iRacing.
Stephen been known to participate in lots of things across the sim, and maybe not a huge surprise then in that case, if that may be the Stephen Wilson who is victorious on many occasions in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Well, I'll tell you, I take a shred of his talent on all forms of motorsports if he comes out here and wins this heat and potentially goes on to win this race. But good to see him. He's going to start on that outside right here with Eli and the number 3 down there on the bottom. But a lot of these people, you talked about the iRating thing. That's important to know. You might be the 1 car in this session, but you could be, if you get more talent, now there as the pace track's down.
We do have confirmation off his iRacing ID that that is indeed the Iowa native Steven Wilson that we are so used to seeing in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. It's Eli Valentine takes off, and we are underway with the first heat here from Lincoln Speedway. Big send there a little bit further back in the field, Terry.
Oh, they're checking up back there from second. That got almost crazy. Wilson stuck it in there in the 7, kind of bottlenecked with the 10. A lot of people trying to dive bomb that first corner. It's very important to get track position here at Lincoln because it's a little bit harder to pass. You can't get these big old stocky cars to get underneath. You got to knock them up out of the groove as we go on board right here with the number 10 machine.
It's Cody Heathcock who is currently in the 4th position trying to get underneath Sylvain Sabarin, but for the moment it is Sabarin who's hanging on to that 3rd spot as Wilson and Valentine have managed to open up a little bit of a gap on those last 3 cars.
Yeah, and here comes the 6 of Gebhardt. He's going to get underneath Heathcock, and he couldn't make that work. Everybody's using different grooves. You saw the 10, he went all the way down, was messing with the guardrail a little bit, trying to get that car to turn. That's going to be important here this afternoon. But the fun part about this is, I told you about multiple different grooves. There are 3 distinctive grooves they're using right now. He's to the outside, one's all the way up, one's in the middle, one's touching the guardrail. Man, put all 16 cars on here. Let's have some fun. There goes Steven Wilson. He's trying to make a run at Valentine.
Yep, on board with Steven Wilson. 3 laps to go for him to try and get Eli Valentine for the win in this heat. Meanwhile, you still got the battles going out for 3rd, 4th, and 5th just a little bit further back, but these two really setting it up as Heathcock now beginning to inch in on Sabarin. But here's your front 2.
Valentine's catfishing in 1 and 2, but he's middle grooving right there in 3 and 4. Steven Wilson gets a better run down the back straightaway. He gets side by side. We kick back here to this battle going on for 3rd. Oh, slide job. Oh, contact.
They bounce off of each other, and Heathcock and Sabarin get into it. Meanwhile, battle for the lead, white flag. Terry Ranford, Wilson on the inside, Valentine on the outside. Wilson with the big send into the corner and off of turn 4. It will be Valentine who gets it done by not a lot. It was barely anything. How about this 47 1/1000ths of a second between Valentine and Wilson to separate them in that heat. Then Gebhardt, then Sabarin, then Heathcock in top 5. That became a very good battle at the end of that race.
What a race! Only 5 people out there. What a race! They were able to make it work. You saw contact slide jobs. You saw it 2 wide going up into the wall. And the starting grid for the 2nd heat with Brayson Riddle, Gavin Mass, Nathan Yarborough, Adam Zellmer, and James, I'm going to give you that one. Mr. Pulse back there in the 9 machine.
Just officially Josiah Jacobson Pulse.
I'll give you that one. I ain't much of a reader. I'm from Tennessee, man.
And Gavin Moss there up on the outside of the first row. So we had a really good battle develop at the end of that race for the lead. I think the bigger question is, can this heat live up to that first heat? Again, everybody going to the feature race, no consolations, nobody to send home. So you are racing for your starting position, but when we get to the feature, it's easier to make your way up to the front if you're already starting there. Seems sort of obvious, but worth noting here, and I think it means a tremendous amount, especially with these Dirt Pro late models.
Heck yeah, this race can be just as good. And for all the people watching here on all the different platforms, you could be racing one of these too. Come out here and have some fun. You'll see it all over Twitter. You know, you follow iRacing. Come be a part of this action. This is the most fun you're going to get in a happy hour. I'm just happy to be here to watch these dirt late models go around. Let's get another drag race to the line.
We may well have that. You make a good point that 40% off of new subscriptions when you log on to iRacing.com as we get the green flag. Brayson Riddle steps on the gas pedal, and they are off and away in the 2nd heat. Immediately, it is a 3-car battle for the runner-up spot, Terry.
There they go, going 3 wide right here down the back straightaway. They'll slide that thing into turns 3 and 4. The outside makes it work. Oh, contact's made again. The 2 almost gets turned. He doors onto the guy on the bottom. Zelmer gets almost punted into the wall as Moss, he goes up there. Man, they're racing crazy here, but it sets itself out. We go single file here.
So Moss, Zelmer, Yarbrough, and don't forget Jacobson just in the back there waiting for his opportunity. And Brayson Riddle is gone off the front. You can barely see him on your screens there on the right-hand side. He is clear by almost a second and a half of Moss and Zelmer and company. So that trio racing for second has some work to do to try and run the leader back down.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get 3 wide back there. Everybody bottlenecks up, and it slows it down and allows that leader to take off and get a really good jump. But you have to get through the gears, too. You can't just, can't be lazy about it. You got to go. You don't want to get caught up in a big battle here on dirt. But this battle for second ain't stopping. Zelmer and Moss, they're putting it on them. This might not be the battle for the win, Pike, but that battle for second is going to be real nice.
And they are starting to distance themselves from Nathan Yarbrough, who got a little bit tight on the exit of turn 2 last time by. He lost some time to the cars in second and third, but Zelmer is putting it right on the door of Gavin Moss for the second position.
But that's what you got to aim for. You got to be able to get in there and point it right at them. You got to have a target point of how you're going to get off the exit of the corner, and that's what Zelmer is doing. He's getting in the corner, going a little bit harder, but backing the exit up. So that's really important there for Adam Zelmer. He's getting pulled away from the two, starting to close in ever so slightly on the race leader, but with 1 lap to go, he ain't gonna have time to catch him.
Yeah, Moss has been able to create some distance too, so Moss, Zelmer chasing down Brayson Riddle, who took the lead early on as that trio battled for second and just leapt away from all of them to secure the victory in Heat 2 with ease over Moss, Zelmer, Yarbrough, and Jacobson. There's a look at your full rundown, and you can see the gap. Gavin Moss was able to wheel that back in just a little bit, chopped it down from 1.5 seconds to 8 tenths. So he was able to shave off about half the gap that Riddle built on lap 1. That, I think, could be interesting to watch as we get into the feature, Terry, because sometimes the cars starting up the front might not necessarily be the outright fastest cars in the field.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the ever-changing of the racetrack is going to be a big story as we get into this feature race. The drivers who do start up front aren't necessarily the fastest. You saw Wilson and Moss, they were able to catch up to them.
So here's your grid for the feature. Heat 1 on the inside, Heat 2 on the outside. Eli Valentine, your pole sitter alongside Brayson Riddle. Stephen Wilson and Gavin Moss will start 3rd and 4th, and then Terry, it'll be Mark Gebhardt and Adam Zelmer starting 5th and 6th.
Here we go back there to row 4 with Savan Seporn and Nathan Yarbrough with Cody Heathcock, Josiah Jacobson Pulse, and Jeffrey Davison back here on row 6.
11 drivers set to battle it out for 30 laps or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. We'll see. We should hit that 30-lap mark with relative ease as the cars begin their pace laps for the feature. Valentine and Little will read us the green, but Moss was a little bit faster than Riddle in Heat 1, and Wilson was able to run down Valentine in Heat 2. They only had 8 laps then. Terry, do you think that the extra distance will help them out, or will the increased traffic on the circuit end up hurting those starting just a little bit back of the leaders?
Heck yeah, it's going to help them. This is going to be fun to watch. You saw right there, Wilson in 8 laps was able to get there. Moss was able to get there as well. There was a good bit of battling going on. This is going to shape up, in my opinion, into a 4-way, 5-way fight for this race win. There's going to be a lot of these drivers that are going to get better as the track starts to slicken up a little bit. It's wet right now. You got a nice layer of dirt. The track state looks great for a dirt race, but as these cars start to funnel through the corners, it'll start to slicken up. They'll start to wash up the racetrack, and they'll start to have to hunt for a little bit. Oh boy, I can't wait to watch.
Air temp 74 degrees, track temp 85 degrees as we go racing in the feature from Lincoln to the Pro Dirt late models. In trouble a little bit further back. They did not get a clean start in about 4th or 5th, and lots of carnage further back in the field.
Yeah, they're still beating and banging on each other, but it's side by side there for P2. The one of Wilson's, he's going to jump down to the bottom. The 4 is going to be to the outside. They're still going to keep it going. The 4 was able to get to run all the way up there. He's starting to slide in the corner a little bit more. What I tell you, 4-way fight for the race lead. These drivers are some of the best right here. That's why they come to run this C-Class Dirt Pro Late Model Series. And man, that Valentine drive, he's fast right now on this very slick track.
Big contact there just a little bit further back. Moss and Wilson are all over each other. Here's a look on board of Moss's machine. They bounced off of each other on the exit of 4 last time. They bounced off of each other again into turn 1 a lap ago. Now they've created some distance, but as they've grown apart, here comes Brayson Riddle, who's been able to run down Eli Valentine for the race lead.
Yeah, the race lead's starting to heat up. You talked about it with they had 8 laps versus now 30 laps. Was that going to be a big benefactor to the drivers who had to play chase in that last race? They did. They played a lot of chase and they figured it out, just like you could figure out how to get the World of Outlaws dirt racing game.
You can do this on your PC via iRacing. You can do this on your console, an Xbox or a PlayStation. When you get the World of Outlaws dirt racing game, which is available now at all major retailers. You get it for Xbox One, Xbox Series X or Series S, and the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I've got it myself, had a tremendous amount of fun as Valentine and Riddle are there, and Wilson has started to spread out that distance to Moss and has started to also reel in the race leader, so it's becoming a 4-car fight once again.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see when that 4 of Riddle tries to make the move right there, because now he knows that the 1 of Wilson, the 2 of Moss, they're back there. They're going to make it go. Here we go, side by side. He gets a quarter panel in there, but couldn't make it stick. He'll slide it through the corner. Can he make the run off the exit work? No, not this time. He had a little bit of a run, but it fizzled out just a little bit, and they're getting closer and closer to that wall, James.
Look at the line that Brayson Riddle's running. I know we've got a few drift fans in chat. I know. And it's the same sort of principle when you've got the lead and the chase going in drift racing, where you want to be right up on the door of somebody else and hope that they make some sort of mistake. So intriguing to see how Riddle was doing that. Now we're seeing Wilson try and do the same thing to Riddle, as Riddle now goes up to the high line and makes the move on Valentine for the race lead.
Oh, and he made it work, too. Riddle got to that outside of Valentine, and there he is. Now it's 3 wide for the race lead just for a second. You got the battle for 6 happening right there on the right-hand side of the screen. There's fights all over this place, and look at them. Boy, they're all the way up against that wall. 3 wide in the 4 of Riddle. He was almost in the wall off the exit of the corner, and it's 4 wide for the lead, too.
No separation amongst these top 4 for the race lead. We haven't even hit halfway. Remember that Moss and Wilson got into each other a little bit ago. Now Valentine starting to slide back. Wilson trying to get his place, and it's now Moss and Valentine just about trying to beat the doors and wheels off of each other for that 3rd spot.
Oh, that's just racing. That's what you're supposed to do in dirt racing. You're supposed to put the quarter panel on them, move them up the racetrack, make them earn it. You got to put them elbows out and grind at this stuff. You just can't. You can't be, lazy with it. You got to go out there and steer that thing, make that car your own. And a lot of these drivers right here, especially Valentine, had a hard time when the 4 Riddle got to the outside, keeping that thing on the bottom. He didn't want to wash up and hurt the driver to the outside. But look at them now, starting to fan out from each other just ever so slightly. But Wilson's there. He's going to put that fight for the base lead too.
We go on board with Gavin Moss here, but you're seeing it from these front 4. And Terry, it goes back to a point that you made earlier in the broadcast, and one that I think is really prudent to bring up now, because we're seeing these drivers shift lanes. Riddle's move to the outside to pass Valentine for the race lead is the shining example so far, but we're starting to see these drivers shift up towards the cushion, towards the outside. They were down on the bottom to start. Now they're trying to run a little bit more near the wall, and the track, just like you said, is beginning to evolve as we see Wilson throw the slider on Riddle for the race lead, but Riddle immediately responds and cuts underneath.
Yeah, he cut underneath, but you see it right here when they go into the corner. It's starting to slick off just a little bit. You see the shininess of the racetrack trying to come through as the rubber's been laid down. But Wilson, he goes in there. He's going to send that baby in that corner. Here comes Riddle. He's going to pull the slider on him again.
Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth they go, and all this is doing is bringing the other 2 back into this as Wilson now takes away the race lead.
And that time he's got it for good, it seems, because the 4, he had a little bit of a bobble going into the corner, but he gets a great exit down the back straightaway. Can he slide it in there? They're both running virtually the exact same lane. Just the front nose is pointed just a little bit more down for the 4. Can Riddle get underneath Steven Wilson and make this pass happen again, or is that outside going to be too dominant?
And worth noting, just as I look at the top bar and I see time and scoring, the driver that's really impressed me here as we hit the final third of this race, outside of the top 4, Adam Zellmer has been able to reel these drivers back in. He's only about half a second back of that battle for third. So we're starting to see what has been consistently a 4-car pack at the front become a 5-car pack, because Zellmer is the only one that's been able to keep up with the leaders.
Yeah, and that has to do with a lot of the battling that's going on up here when they're throwing sliders on each other for the front, too. That allowed the three of Valentine and Moss there in fourth in the two to stay very close together. And that's allowed Zelmer to stay in place here. But right now, they're separated out as like an accordion. You've got Wilson. He's starting to pull away from Riddle. And then Valentine's right there still fighting hard to keep that P3 position.
Big move. Oh, wow. Lots of action here at the place where the action is, the attraction, Lincoln Speedway. You get a good look on board with Brayson Riddle trying to run down Steven Wilson, but Wilson has started to open it up. 7/10, now 8/10 of a second as the battle for third begins to intensify between Moss, Valentine, and Zelmer.
A little contact's made right there. You heard him catch the wall. We're on board right here with the Ford machine of Riddle. He's not able to close that gap in. He's just trying everything he can. He's all the way up a little bit into the cushion, trying to get those rear tires to get some grip. We look right here. We're right there with the three of Valentine and the two of Mass. And Zelmer, you talked about it. It's a three-way fight for third as the race leaders are starting to be long gone in the distance.
Race leaders are indeed gapping these three, but these three have now become the best fight on the racetrack for position. Moss has had it, and then Valentine has tried to regroup after starting up front, and Zelmer has just been patiently biding his time while all these drivers have fought for position, and now he finds himself in the hunt for a top five.
And he's probably going to get it, too. I think we're going to see that 5 get up here. If there's a bobble go on, you see right here the 2 slid up just a little bit, almost. You want to use the wall just a little bit as a brace. As the caution flag comes out, throws a wrench in all this. We bunching these things back up, boy.
Oh, how this changes so much. So much here. Steven Wilson was gone off the front. It was almost his race outright, and now it will be late in the going here at Lincoln and could get wild.
Oh, it's most definitely going to get wild. You're going to see Riddle has another opportunity to come here. The track's going to come down just a little bit. These tires will fizzle out just a little bit and cool down. But with the caution flag coming out, that's going to bring everybody back together to give one final attempt to either figure out if they can go to the outside, if they can go to the bottom, what they can do. But interesting point, caution laps do not count. So we're going to restart this with 2 laps to go.
2 laps for Steven Wilson to hang on to this thing. And you'll notice here, I think also worth paying attention. Look at the line that Steven Wilson is taking in the corners here. And look at the lines that these drivers are taking throughout the field. Wilson going up a little bit beyond the cushion. Terry, if you're trying to go above the cushion and go up into the marbles, what are you trying to accomplish as a driver, especially with the restart coming up?
Well, one, you're trying right now to cool the tires down. You're trying to get some of that dirt on those tires to keep everything cool, calm, and collective. You don't want to be down there where it's hot. It's not a big fan to go down there and run where the rubber has been. But we're getting ready for the restart, Pike. Let's go racing.
And will all those tire tracks make it a little bit more difficult to spot where the cushion actually is? Worth noting here, 2 laps to go. Wilson on the gas pedal, green flag back at Lincoln, and he got a great jump on Riddle and Moss and company, clear by 3 car lengths already into the first turn.
White flags in the air, James Pike, and it's all bets are off. Who's going to win this race? But P2 still hadn't been settled yet.
P2 has not been settled. Steven Wilson still there. 1 more lap and 2 more opportunities for Riddle or Moss or Valentine to try and settle this one as there's a little bit of contact to the back. But Steven Wilson patiently bided his time. He's driving through the front and trouble behind him, and it's all the driver out of Iowa. Steven Wilson comes across the line to win our feature race here for the Dirt Pro late models at Lincoln Speedway.
Yeah, he could win at just about anything he wants to win in. If he wants to go race anything on the iRacing platform, and you can race on everything on the iRacing platform too with 40% off new members here. But man, what a race. What heats, what feature.
A lot of fun here at Lincoln Speedway. Here are your final results. Steven Wilson beats Brayson Riddle and Gavin Moss. Those are your top 3. Eli Valentine and Adam Zelmer finished 4th and 5th. Mark Gebhardt was 6th. Cody Heathcock rounded out this race in 7th. 8th went to Sylvan Sabaran. Josiah Jacobson finishes in the 9th spot. And rounding out the top 10, Terry, Nathan Yarborough.
You will go back here to the number 11 position. Well, We don't have anybody in the 11th position.
Just the top 10 here. Just the top 10. A few folks dropped into practice but elected not to start the feature. So just 10 cars that we had in our feature for the Dirt Pro late models at Lincoln Speedway. And again, don't forget, if you liked what you saw in this race, you're going to see more of it coming up in a few weeks. July 10th is the date you want to mark on your calendars, 9 p.m. Eastern on iRacing's Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. You will see the World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series. And for more information on how to start your iRacing career, you can log on to iRacing.com today. So big thanks to all of you for watching this Dirt Late Model race. But for now, time to toss it off to our friends who do the left and right thing a little bit better than a simpleton oval folks do. To Paul Smith and Peter Mackay for the second half of today's iRacing Happy Hour.
Yeah, thank you very much, James and Terry, for that entertaining Dirt Oval race there. But it's Paul Smith and Peter Mackay here, bringing you all the action then coming up on the road side of things. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be racing with some AI, but also with a few of our humans thrown into there as well, which is going to be a spectacle, if anything goes by the last Happy Hour, Peter.
Certainly is, and you got a grandstand view of that from being right there in the heat of the action, Paul. I remember that very vividly. But throwing else into the mix tonight, we've got 3 brand new cars to the iRacing service: the Cadillac GTP, the new LMP from Ligier, and the new Porsche 992 GT3R. So multi-class race on a circuit that hasn't been seen in real life before.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be going to the streets of Chicago in just a few moments' time. But first, get you up to speed with everything that's going on coming up here. It's the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. That's going to be starting on June the 28th at Wild West Motorsport Park. We then head on to Crandon, to Bark River, Wild Horse, and then the middle race there on July 26th, Crandon International Short. That's an all-star event. Non-championship, but we're going to be seeing some tremendous racing there. And then the second half of the season rounding off at the full Crandon International Raceway on August the 23rd. Do not miss that one out. That's going to be available right across the iRacing network of broadcasters. But Peter, I mean, the Off-Road Dirt Championship, those trucks, they produce some sensational racing.
Oh, they're so exciting to watch and fantastic to drive. It's one of the vehicles you can get involved with early on in your iRacing career and get a feel of what type of racing you like. That jumpy truck, as it's often referred to, is super fun.
It certainly is. So make sure you join us for all of that action from June the 28th for the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. And well, talking about series coming up, it is a new championship coming up for us here in the open wheel side of things, because it is the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series, going to be coming to you in September. And this is the first time we're getting to see the schedule for that championship. Starting off at Second de Spa-Francorchamps, fantastic, historic, sensational venue. Then Jerez, we've got Texas Motor Speedway to get through a little bit of a twist in there. Silverstone, Zandvoort, to Belle Isle. I was saying before the broadcast, Peter, I love that Belle Isle track. And finishing off at Monza, a track that, we've got to know a little bit better a couple of weeks ago.
We did, and what a wonderful place that is. And that'll race really well on a championship finale as well, with, I'm sure, a multi-car drag race to the line. The one I want to see is Circuito de Jerez. It's a circuit which I know pretty well, and it's in a wonderful part of the world, and has come to the iRacing world quite recently, and it's brilliant to see that on there. We had a brilliant opening World Championship with that car, with the Dallara IR01 last year, and great to see the series returning.
Certainly is great to see, and some of the best racers in sim racing taking part in that championship. So make sure you do join us on September the 4th for all of the action in that. But let's just explain what we're doing here today. We are on the streets of Chicago, of course, the track that's going to be a venue in a few weeks' time in the world of NASCAR. Well, we got to see it first here on iRacing just a couple of years ago. You can race this track. if you want to sign up, get a membership, 40% off of new memberships here on iRacing. But you can race this track, and you can do what we're going to do tonight, Peter, and that's have a bit of fun with your friends, and also some AI to keep you company as well.
That you can, and it's really a revolutionary thing. NASCAR have never had a street race in 75 years, and instead of going to an existing street race venue, they've built their own from the ground up. And iRacing have been they've been there since the very beginning of this process, scanning the track during the COVID pandemic and bringing it to life. It's been raced on in the virtual world. Next weekend, they'll race on in the real world in Chicago. And for the drivers, if they're not busy on iRacing right now, they're putting themselves at a disadvantage when they hit the track next weekend.
Well, if you're here and wondering, well, how do I go about setting up an AI racing session? Well, we've got the perfect man for you, because Cisco Scaramuza, who's going to be racing in this race, is going to talk you through how to set up this AI session. Hello, Cisco.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on iRacing Happy Hour today. And just as we did last month, we're going to show you a little bit behind the scenes how to set up an AI roster and then how to bring it in and use it to race with your friends. So looking forward to show you guys how we can get on track with that and get to turn some laps around my home track of the Chicago Street Course. So looking forward to that. But we're going to switch over here and take a look at my AI, and I'll walk you through all the steps that you need to go through in order to set that up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our AI roster, and I'll show you a little bit about how to get that set up. So we're here on the iRacing homepage, and what we're going to do is open up the sidebar here, hit that little hamburger menu. From there, we're going to go down, we're going to select our AI Racing tab. So from here, that'll pop that open. We'll go to opponent rosters. I've got a couple here set up that I've used over the course of years since the system's been in place. But today, we're going to make a new roster just to kind of show you around. So we're going to go up here. You can hit create a roster up here. There's also the button here on the sidebar as well. So you can hit either one of those and it'll pop open this little modal screen right here. So roster name, we're just going to go with my AI roster for now. You can obviously change this as you're working on it, that sort of thing. One thing I generally like to do is once I have the name, just go ahead and hit save. Oh, I have no drivers, so I've got to put some drivers in first. So you have a choice here. You can either do all cars in single class or use car classes. Today, I'm going to use car classes. I usually find that for any sort of AI session, it's easier to do that because I could just search if I'm setting up a NASCAR session. I could just search NASCAR Cup Car, and I don't have to add all 3 Cup cars. I can add them all right here, or the trucks, or the Xfinity cars, whatever I want to do, they're all right there. But because we're going road racing here, we're going to change things up a little bit. So we're going to start with the Cadillac, if I can spell it correctly, Paul. I believe it's C-A-D-I-L-L is how you spell Cadillac, Paul?
Well done, you've got it there.
Okay, cool. So we're going to go ahead and add that car here. And then next up, we're going to add the Ligier. Go ahead and pop up. There it is. And we're going to add the Porsche 992 GT3 car. So I'm just going to search 992. And there it is. And there's the GT3. Make sure we pick the right one. I'm sure Peter would start laughing at me if I picked the Cup car over the GT3 car. They are vastly different cars, right, Peter?
They are indeed, Cisco. Yes, very different.
But we'll go ahead and do that. So that's going to be our 3. So we added one car of added one AI for each car here. So we have Richard, Mike, and our good friend Chris Leone here in the Ligier. So when you add a car, when you're going in here and you're adding a car, you have the option. If you hit this drop down, you can add multiple cars. So I just added one car per each, but you can add up to a certain amount of cars for each. And then you can choose whether you want them to be blank or if you want them to have random values. So we did random values. You also get random values 1 car per if you just hit that select button there. So from there you can see we have 3 drivers with randomly sort of associated skills. So we're going to go in here. We're going to look at Leone a little bit. So we're going to scroll down and take a look. Here are your driver attributes here. I'm not going to walk through all the details of all of them, but if you are curious, you can hover over the question mark here and it'll tell you what each slider is going to do. So given that this is Chris Leone, we're just going to do a little edit here and we're just going to, that's about right. Go ahead and edit that a little bit. Yep, that's about right.
I was about to say do 100% aggression.
Yeah, we know how that works. Optimism, he's pretty optimistic, so I'm going to go with 75. Smoothness, that's going to go back down to 0 here, as there's our friend Ryan Burton here. And then age, we're going to go ahead. We're just going to crank this all the way. That's. I think that's accurate, Paul. Right? 90 years old, somewhere around there.
Something like that. Yeah.
He didn't buy a good pit crew, so we're going to go ahead and turn that all the way down. And pit strategy riskiness. Well, he doesn't have a crew chief, so we're going to go ahead and crank that to 100 because he's just going to guess. But you can customize that as you were, and change it around how you see fit. And what you can actually do is take this skill, and if you want to apply it to all, you can do that as well, whether if you just want to apply one individual skill or all of them, and you can apply all to the car class or to the roster. So that option is there if you want it. You can tab over here as well and paint the car. I'm not going to do that right now because just get through a bunch of cars here, so it takes a while. But if you want to sit there and customize every single car and want the exact design that you want, you can do that. Also, you see this little button down here, add pattern. You can add your own designs too. So if you want to set up cars from your favorite racing series and set up your entire roster for that to race against, you can absolutely do that. Add spec maps. And as well, you have driver customization as well if you want to change out their fire suit and change up and go fully in depth on their character drivers as well. And then finally, you can go in here and swap cars. So if you decide, hey, maybe I want Chris to be in a different make of car or something like that, you can go down here. So if I thought, maybe I shouldn't have Chris in a Ligier, maybe I want to put him in a Porsche, you go down here and we'll just select the Porsche. There it is. And just hit that, and all of a sudden, boom, he's up here in the Porsche class with Richard. So there you go. That's all you have to it. And then when you're done, just scroll down here and hit the save button. And there you go. Is make sure save your AI rosters. Don't make it and go through all that work and then lose it. You can also go up here, save often, and hit the save and close button if you want to get out of here, or you could just hit that X after you save. Save. It's not fun to go back through these rosters. But guys, do you have anything on this part of the UI?
We have had one question.
We now don't have a Ligier. We need a Ligier.
Yeah, we need a Ligier.
Oh, yeah, we need to put a Ligier back in. We'll take care of that.
We have had one question in the chat, by the way, just asking, doesn't 0% on AI stats randomizing it ever in every event?
If it does that, cool. I didn't actually check that beforehand. So what you're saying is, if we hover over it, it doesn't say that in here. So I'll tell you what, we'll look that up, and so that'll actually get determined a little bit later once we set up the actual session. So we'll show you that here in a minute. But this is the relative skill. You know what? It's Chris. We'll set him to 1. How about that? He gets 1 skill, just in case it's a rallycross session, just to help him out a little bit. So we'll do that. We'll save this and go ahead and close that. So now we got our AI roster set up. You can see I have a bunch here. What I'm actually going to do is switch over and use an AI roster I set up earlier when we build our session. So we're going to go over here, go to Go Racing, and we're going to say Create a Race. And say, do you want to use last settings or new race? We're going to select new race. If you just set up a hosted race and you want to set one up with the exact same parameters, you hit that last settings button. Saves you a ton of work. But for this case, we're going to go to new race. Session name, we're just going to call this my iRacing session. Password, we'll set that up later here off camera. Server details, select the server you want. So we're here in Boston, so we're going to do that. Admins, I'll set all this up later. So the event type here, we're just going to do practice, open qualifier, and race. We're going to have a 45-minute race here, and we'll advance through these sessions, so I'll just leave these as they are. Coming over to weather. So with Chicago, we're going to set it to clear. We're going to turn the temperatures down a little bit so we aren't completely sliding around and crashing into the barrier. Set the wind speed here. Yes, Paul, I heard you started. What's up?
I always thought that Chicago was a bit of a foggy city myself.
So what you're saying, I should do that and go 63? Have it? No, Paul. I want to see the barriers I crash into. But what we are going to do is set wind speed to 5 miles an hour, hit it to northeast. That was actually the wind in the city last week, so go figure. They don't call it the Windy City for nothing. Dynamic sky here, by the way, and we'll adjust that. There's a little trick I can show you guys here in a moment. So cars, once again, we're going to use car classes. We're not going to use fixed setups, but if you want to, you can. So we're going to go over here. Ligier, we'll start with that. JSP 320. It will auto sort the cars on the grid based on speed. So don't worry about setting the cars in the correct order on this menu. So there we go, the Cadillac, Ligier, and once again, we're gonna do a 992R. So we'll pick that here. So those are the 3 cars, not doing fixed setup. Track, we'll go over here and select the Chicago Street Course, and we want the 2023 version here. Going to our track options, most of this is pretty okay. I'm gonna use the sedan here. Not worried about caution, so we're gonna turn wave arounds off. Everything else looks good here. Fast repairs, no limit. Yeah, we need fast repairs here, guys, unfortunately. Paul, you've seen me drive. You know what happens.
Yes. Well, we all saw what happened when I tried to race against the AI a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. That's absolutely true. We'll switch over here. License rating, all this seems fine here. Not going to mess with too much, but we're going to hit the toggle for disable car damage. So when we inevitably bounce it off the wall, we're not 5 seconds slower than everyone else. And when I say bounce it, more like smash into the tires, knock the hood off, spoiler goes flying, you know, the usual. Rest of this looks pretty good, though. So here, this is where the AI roster comes into play. So you go here, you have the option to select opponent roster. So you can either generate a roster based on what you have selected in the cars, or you can import a roster that you set up. So here's the one that I set up earlier. And I'll go in, it'll say, how many drivers do you want to add from that roster? I want to add everyone. So we're going to go ahead and crank this up here. And unlike Tyler Maxon did last month, we're going to set this to the correct difficulty, which we're going to put at around 60% to 80%. Just, you know, so we have a little bit of pace with these guys and we're not getting blown out of the water like Paul Smith was last month here. Ah, no reaction. Come on.
It was a factual statement.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. That's a factual statement. Finally, we're going to clear the marbles off track. The track sweepers have been out there so far. We're going to go clear off the track for practice, clear off the track for qualifying, and we'll carry over from qualifying to race. And finally, I mentioned the time stuff. That's come into play here. We're going to hit up specific time. What we're going to do is set it to today. Now, because I went in and set like an hour for everything, you're like, oh, what happens if I set it to 3 hours? What if I want my race to start at 2 p.m.? So right here it says race is going to start at 2:15. We don't want that. So you can actually adjust this. So we're going to set it directly. So it'll actually send us back in time once we get to the racing session. So qualifying will be at 1 p.m. And then I'm going to set the race here to 2. So there, finally, time acceleration multiplier. If we wanted to go through a day-night cycle on a track that had lights, we could set that up there. We're not going to do that today, though. But with that, we're going to go ahead and hit our checkout button. And here you see all your sessions and any settings that we want to double check and make sure is good to go. But that's all from my side. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Cisco, for that. And yeah, really intriguing to see how to set up AI races. I've actually used that functionality here on iRacing and run a few races with a few friends, getting some AI in there as well. Once you get the AI dialed in, Peter, you can have some really fun racing.
You can, absolutely. And you can get that, that kind of fantasy combination of cars, tracks, driver skill, etc. Whatever you want is completely customizable there. You can see how Cisco was showing us all those different ways you can play about with the software. It's fantastic stuff, and yeah, that's what we're going to put to the test now out on track at Chicago.
Yeah, let's have a look. They're just in a practice session right now, just getting themselves prepared for this race. So as we say, there's going to be a mixture of AI and the human drivers as well. To make things a little bit easier for you at home, everyone in the GTP and everyone in the GTD class are all AI. It's that middle class that you're going to see our human drivers. It's worth mentioning the human drivers as well whilst we're here. We've got the returning Keenan Cousin from our last Happy Hour broadcast. We've got Ian Plash, we've got Ryan Burton, And we've also got Cisco Scaramusa, who was there just a few moments ago, talking us through how to set up that session. And, well, if anything's to go by, Peter, Keenan is going to give us the most entertainment, shall we say.
Well, that's true. That is very true. And this LMP3 car is going to be a really interesting little car to drive around here at Chicago. There's quite a lot of big braking zones, lots of 90-degree turns as well. And our drivers all looking the masters of concentration there, guys.
Yeah, they're all too busy to talk to us right now. We've got Keenan in the top left-hand corner. Hey, Keenan. How you doing, buddy?
I don't ignore what I just did. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's taking liberties with. I'm just testing the walls. That's what I'm doing. I'm providing a service.
Just making sure that the safety is fine.
Yeah,
we saw we spoke to Cisco, so we can ignore him. Ian, how's things going out there?
I'm chasing down Ryan Burton. Feel my pressure, Burton. Feel my pressure. Yeah, locking up every apex, buddy. No, good to see you guys. It's been a lot of fun warming up for this, and can't wait to get this race on.
Ryan was so unaffected by that threat of being chased down by Ian. I mean, you were just completely unmoved there.
The only thing that's moving are the walls as I hit them.
So what we're seeing. We're seeing is that the drivers are challenged by the walls, Peter. Another thing that's going to be a challenge is we're throwing all of these human drivers to the back of the grid. They're not qualifying. The rest of the AI is.
Well, that's going to make it tricky. Although here at Chicago, the circuit designers have done a great job to open up a lot of overtaking opportunities. That's going to make a difference, certainly in this multi-class race with the faster GTP cars coming through. And also then, how are the LMP3s and the GTD cars, how are they going to intertwine? Because we see in the real life IMSA WeatherTech Championship, sometimes they do trip over one another.
Certainly do that. Now, I mean, you guys, you all know each other. You all race in the same team. How are you seeing today going with you all being in the same class?
We have a plan.
We do have a plan, yes.
We have a plan if this goes awry. We talked about it beforehand.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are worried about the AI uprising, don't worry. We have an idea. we are single-handedly going to save the world today here at the Chicago Street Circuit.
I mean, you've got to talk about it. There's a lot of talk across the media as to AI taking over in general, but here on iRacing, they put up a formidable fight. They don't care about reputations, do they?
No, they also don't care if the apex is yours sometimes either. They're aggressive. They're a challenge, like legitimately. Like, you know, if you got a prototype now pretty decently far back into a corner and they're much faster than you, much like you would see any other LMDH race, if there is gap, they will go for it. And, you know, they don't want to be held up by you. So you got to learn how to stave their aggression and do all the same back to them. It's actually a good challenge. It's a lot of fun.
And how are we finding the Ligia? Because of course you're all in the new car, Ryan. I mean, how are you taking to that car?
It's been difficult to learn how to take a lot of blind right-hand turns in a right-hand drive car, as I can't see any of the apexes. But the car's really fun to drive. We had to dial in a bit of a setup to help us kind of ease into it a little easier.
Bump.
Bump. Yeah.
Bump.
Also to handle the very smooth
yes.
Chicago
No,
streets.
it's not. It feels like Sebring. It feels like Sunset a little bit. And Peter, you can probably speak to that a little bit because I believe you were there, weren't you?
Well, I had a few laps this morning in the Cadillac GTP, and that car is just a honey actually. But you're right, it is bumpy, and particularly going through the section turn 8, 9, 10. through East Congress Plaza Drive, that's where you can really lean on the aero of the car. But the problem is the aero only works when the car's on the ground. When you hit one of those big bumps, you're going whoa, and you've got to kind of get on top of it as well. But I think that LMP3 car is going to be a nice balance for you guys. No excuses.
Yeah, it's a really good fit around here. It is bumpy, but as you said, there's a couple of corners where you can use the downforce and you can use the arrow, and if you're brave, you can find like a second of lap time, if not more. However, if you get this one corner in specific, if you turn in a little early, the wall is not your biggest problem. It's all 4 tires being off the ground. I really didn't. I thought these would be a little bit too quick for this track, but it's actually been a ton of fun.
Yeah, so which will now be canonically known as ba-da-ba-ba-ba pass when we go through the McDonald's section.
So it's the drive-through first window, drive-through second window.
Yeah.
So let's get this straight. So on iRacing, you can race at Circuit de la Sarthe, where if you know where it is, you've got a certain fried chicken company down the Mulsanne Straight, and here you've got a certain fast food restaurant itself with its famous for its burgers.
If you're hungry, you have choices.
Yeah.
Famous for its non-functioning ice cream machine.
Oh, true. It's never, whenever you want that cone, oh, I'm sorry, the soft serve is down. It's like,
Oh, come on.
All right.
Every time.
Who are we waiting on? Who are we waiting on in
We're
this
waiting
AI?
on the LMP3s
Everybody.
Right.
Are they
now,
just?
so,
Steve put a time in. All right, of course.
Yeah,
Thanks,
time's
Steve.
coming in now.
So we're waiting for the LMP. Basically, what we're doing is we're giving the AI an opportunity to set a lap time before we then advance the session. We're just currently actually watching the AI version of Tony Gardner, who just happens to be Cisco's boss. So, Cisco, have you got any trash talk? Over
The
Tony?
car is wearing overalls. Why does it look like it's wearing little khaki pants? What's going on?
It's army green and brown, right? Is that what that is?
It's a classic combo.
He's wearing little
Hunting. Oh, okay. I could. So this is hunting colors. Tony's a big hunting guy, so that's why we set up with this paint. So that makes sense now. He's blending into all the forestry around us here in the metropolitan streets of Chicago with all the buildings around.
It looks like a
About to
Dollar
say,
Tree
you-
employee. What do you mean?
You need some like urban cabo. Like, well, what's going on here? They didn't get the memo, I don't think.
Who
There's
else?
a little bit of Ninja Turtle to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it. Wrong city, but I see it.
Ninja Turtle.
The same thing.
Although the LMP3s were last onto the track because they had a full slammed schedule this morning of descalings, tooth removal, that kind of thing.
Ah, there it is.
Jump in the
There
car.
They robbed me.
There it is.
They robbed me. My tooth is gone and nobody's paid me for it.
Well, I am thankful we have plenty of dentists available in the field after this race, because I'm pretty sure if you have any cavities or any like fillings that are like a little bit in shambles, you're gonna need to get it checked after these 45 minutes.
Well,
So
it's
plenty on hand.
It's funny that we mentioned about the dentistry, because we have had a question from the esteemed Justin Malello saying, what school did everyone in Team Rick earn their dentistry degrees from?
www.taketeethnow.org. Don't look that up. It's not a real website. I made that.
Yeah. No, I'll James Pike's in the broadcast booth here, so I'll pop him. But I went to onlineuniversity.com and got my dentistry degree with 4 clicks. So somewhere James Pike is fist bumping because I dropped the strong bad reference.
Wait.
We do actually have James Pike in the commentary booth.
Wait, hold on. You guys got your ratings and your license for this? What?
I went and got a pair of flyers and just told people I was accepting bookings. So guys,
Uh-oh.
Visit incisorexplosion.com now for your 30-day free trial.
All right, so I think we're just waiting on Nim to put down a time. We should be good to go.
Well, look at the skyline here that's been accurately produced here at iRacing. I mean, if somebody should know this skyline, it is hometown boy Cisco Scaramuza from Chicago, Illinois.
Not just
himself.
me. It's not just me. It's Plash too. Don't forget him. We're both from the area. But
I
fun
understood that.
fun fact about this, by the way, my dad used to live in a condo that it's like 2 blocks from where the edge of the scan was. I was like, oh, it's not in there, but he was right. You could see it on the overhead, so it's close.
Would you let you disappoint me again, son?
We have had a serious question. I know this is going to be a shock, but is it possible to save and export AI rosters to share with others?
Yeah, absolutely. So all those AI rosters save in your documents folder, so you don't have to export it. It's literally sitting in your documents folder right now. So, and you could, it's just a .json file. So if you're familiar with those, you could basically open those in any text editor. So just a notepad file, send it to your friends, whatever, and beautiful shot of the skyline here. But yeah, you could send that to wherever you need and whoever needs it, and all they have to do is drop it into their AI rosters folder, and they can run and load your AI. And then, by the way, if you have custom paints, make sure to put them in that AI rosters folder for that particular roster, because then that should transfer over as well, so you don't have to like relink paints and do all that sort of work.
I'm going to be controversial here, but and don't punish me here, Cisco. But I prefer the pizza from a different northeast city rather than Chicago.
Listen. I'm the Canadian here, so I'll play peacemaker. All pizza is good pizza. Detroit, Chicago, New York, wherever you're from, if it's got meat, cheese, and sauce on it, you're welcome in my house.
It's advancing. We are getting ready to drive, boys.
Oh, no, we're having a conversation here. What do you mean? Interrupt me.
So, let's have a look then at how things are going to be starting here, Peter, because this is going to be interesting, shall we say. First of all, GTP starting grid, Peter, take it away.
Well, Ryan Bauer slams it on the pole in the GTP category alongside Jay Kennedy, with Evan Pisocco and Sean multiple plugs Ambrose there in the outside of row 2. Row 3 is Susan Flint alongside Corey Vervingt. Row 4 has Jack Johnson and Drew Adamson with Hugh Tran and Terry Tradford. Then it's Kim Jazik and Angela Sinopoli.
Right, so let's look then at our next starting grid, which is the LMP3 starting grid, and it's Otto himself, Otto Zavini, on the front row along with Greg Hill. Nim Cross, don't get cross with him because he'll get cross with you. Tony Gardner is sharing that row as well with Steve Myers and Kevin Iannarelli on that third row. Butchered that name, but that's my job here. Brian Simpson and Dave Kamer with our human drivers, Keenan Curzon, Ryan Burton, Ian Flash, and Cisco Scaramusa. And GTD, Peter.
Seth Whitaker's on the pole there alongside Ben Regan. Then it's Christian Challoner and Kevin Bobbitt with Larry Fulcher and Miguel Azuna there on row 3. Row 4 is Chris Leone and Greg West. Then it's Alex Horn and Doug Hunt with Alex Saunders and Cole Baker rounding out row 6 in the all Porsche 992 GT3R class.
Well, we're going for the pace lap here, and the AI is leading that off in GTD. The LMP3s then, they're the ones with the human drivers where we're going to be seeing how they progress through this field. Good question that's just come in from Justin Malello. What has changed from the original track released in 2021 to the track that's been running this race and in the real world in just a week's time, Peter?
That's right, yeah, and we've got the real sponsorship boardings all around the circuit as well. And actually I can report it's a lot easier to get lost in the prototype version than it is in this version. This is much more friendly, so if you don't know the circuit, do this. You click this version, this is the one to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Do get yourself onto the 2023 Cup version of the track if you're wanting to race around this incredible facility here, the temporary road, the temporary street call, should I say, in Chicago. See the railway there to the right. You've got the tennis courts, baseball fields. It's just a beautiful place to be in sim. I don't know about in real life though. Cisco and crew will be able to tell us whether it's a good area to be in, but certainly it looks nice in the sim.
Oh,
It's
well,
near,
this is
near Grant Park.
Yeah, this is Grand Park. Oh, Brian, I wasn't waiting for you to break there. But this
You
is
checked
where
that in front of me.
this is where Lollapalooza is every year. They're going to be having concerts here during the actual race weekend here for the street course race in Chicago. So yeah, this is a beautiful place and was re-renovated. Oh, contact! And towards the middle half of the 2000s, they added Cloudgate and the pavilion as well. Cloudgate, of course, as you all know, is the Bean.
There we go.
Ah.
It's all about the bean.
Cloudgate, that just sounds like some sort of government scandal where data's been hacked from a server or something like that.
Well, one thing that I didn't expect about this track, to be fair, is the undulation. That is worth pointing out as well, is the undulations. But we are getting set for the start of this race. The pace car pulls off onto pit road. We're now under control of your leaders as the green flag drops. Barney the flagman waves that green flag, and Ryan Bauer takes us away at the front of GTD. And further back, look at the dive down the inside there. That's Keenan. Oh, it's contact with the wall as well for Keenan. That's not the best of starts there.
No, I forgot that we were in a line of a bunch of cars, so I braked where I normally braked, and everyone else like, we'll take it easy into one. And I wanted to simulate the human experience of being at the back of the field and completely forgetting to brake.
Well, it was all Steve Meyer's fault, was that one blocking down the inside into one. But as we head on then towards the second half of the lap, Peter, these GTDs, I mean, you can see them, they are trying to fight for the lead from Bauer. Jay Kennedy, one of our broadcast colleagues, trying his best to move forward, and Evan Pasoko as well. How come Evan gets an AI, but yet I don't?
I'll leave that one to Fester. It's on board with Cisco Scaramuza, who's just had the moment of his life there as we come on board. The fish.
No, right.
Oh, look out, look out.
Whoa! This is.
Hey guys, the tires are cold.
Fast and the Furious 37. Wow.
Oh, it's all about family. Ryan has found out what the wall is like here. Ryan, how are the walls?
Concrete is hard to chew. I'm trying my best though. I've gotten a lot of practice in.
Dental plan.
I have a dental plan.
Dental plan.
Well, that's fine. The dental plan is important here as we cross the line then. GTD, by the way, in that beautiful, brand new Porsche 911 992R. It's a sensational car, isn't it, Peter? And they're kicking it with the LMP3s right now.
Yeah, when you drive this car, it's those who have driven the Porsche 911 RSR on iRacing. It feels much closer to that than the previous 991 generation. A lot of that comes to do with the well, two things. One is the engine. It's got a much more similar engine to the RSR, 4.2 litre, which the RSR 19 had. And then also the biggest thing though is the rear aero. You get a good shot there of the car ahead. Big rear diffuser, that's straight off the RSR in terms of style. Much larger rear wing as well, so there's the rear aero is huge with this, and it makes the car feel quite a bit more stable, a little bit more planted. And, we got a pink LMP3 off. Oh dear.
Yeah, that was Ryan again. Oh, Ryan, it's not the best of starts for you.
It's all falling apart.
What you're doing is what's generally known in the world of AI racing is the Paul Smith rule. Crash a lot and be at the back of the field.
Yeah,
all part of the plan, gang. It's all part of the plan. Stick to the plan.
We have a plan.
Stick to the plan.
It's part of the plan.
I mean, we've yet to hear the plan, Keenan. What is the plan?
L plan. If I told you, it wouldn't be a secret plan now, would it? It would be a public plan, and that's just like a park or like
AI
a
might be
bench.
listening.
Den plan.
Yeah, it's the demo plan. That's that's perfect. Oh yeah, we got it.
Plan B.
Either way,
Yes, plan
don't worry.
B.
Yeah, we'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, whilst you're busy pedaling the car, we're just admiring the view out of the windscreen of this car. And a very good point was made, Peter, a little bit earlier. This LMP3 car, it is right-hand drive. It is driven from the correct side of the car.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, which for these, and it does. You can now see why you tend to see quite a lot of incidents in these LMP3 cars, because the view out of them is very, very tricky. And if you're not an experienced driver, as many of the drivers who do compete in these machines in real life, they're at the early stages of their top line racing careers, and yeah, the amount of visibility you have is really limited. But that's why we use the sim, is to immerse ourselves in the same way that the real world car would be like. So yeah, it's a good insight there of what that's like, because that A pillar is massive. I never realised that, how obstructive it was.
And that is, of course, the view that you get here in iRacing when you take part. Don't forget, 40% off of all new memberships here on iRacing. Head on over to iRacing.com, where you can start your iRacing career. Remember, every day is a race day here on iRacing. One driver we haven't checked in with here, Ian. You've just been. Oh, Ian's in fact had issues.
Why would you just put me on the spot like that? I wasn't ready.
I was about to say that you'd gained a couple of places over your teammates.
I had, till I ever so boldly decided to forget to break into drive-through window number 1, and got very intimately familiar with the tire barrier on the outside of the race course. So it's okay. We'll bounce it back. We'll figure it out. We'll get there.
It's part of the plan.
Yes, Plan D. Plan D. Yes, master plan.
Trust the process. Trust the process. Oh wait, wrong city.
Is this like the Ferrari strategists having about 20 plans?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had a very long pre-race briefing, speaking it through like every single one of about 15 plans in excruciating detail, to which we then had to do a multiple choice pop quiz at the end of the meeting to make sure we all had all the plans memorized. Jokes aside, we're having fun with this. Honestly, I'm really loving this LMP3, the way it handles around the race course when all 4 tires are firmly planted into the ground, especially when it starts heating up. It's almost like akin to a larger go-kart in many ways. You can really pitch the car into the corner and really work these front tires once you get some heat into them to point the car where it needs to be. You can just absolutely fly through the apexes of a lot of these corners. It's very satisfying to get right once you get it right. So I highly recommend this car to anybody who's been on the fence about it. You want to pick up a new car in the prototype division of racing. This is definitely one of the good ones.
Oh, there's a dive in the background on Cisco Scaramuza, who had made it past Brian Simpson, but Brian goes, not on my watch, and tries to get past. But Cisco, you do get to hold on to that place for the time being.
Yeah, Keenan set that one up. I'm just trying to stick to the back to him, so the moment he knocks somebody out of line here a little bit, I could just sweep in and grab the position as well. Oh, jeez.
I mean, Peter, it's so difficult to know when to talk to these drivers, because it is a busy track, isn't it?
Yeah, there isn't much opportunity for rest, and as Cisco has just beautifully demonstrated there, it's so easy to hit the wall. You just have to get it just a millimeter wrong, and whoosh, you're in the wall. It's really, really tricky, and also you've got big braking zones as well. You look at further up in the GTP cars, they've got brake by wire, so it's kind of difficult to modulate the brake pedal sometimes. But the flip side of that is with the hybrid system on the Cadillac GTP, because you got all those big braking zones, that's where the battery regenerates power. So actually you can leave the car in its attack mode, and just because you're hitting the brakes and so there's so many big braking zones, you don't run the battery out, so you can leave it in full power and get the maximum punch out the corners. And honestly, this Cadillac with that 5.5 litre normally aspirated V8, producing somewhere between 600 and 670 horsepower, depending on the regulations at that race weekend. And then they get a boost from the hybrid of another kind of 40 to 60%, again, depending on the regulations. But that electric power just fills the gap in any kind of lag in the engine, and it's just a joy to drive.
Oh, I don't know if we're going to have to call HR on this one, because Kim is all over the back of Drew Adamson right now. So, we'll have to be careful with this one, Peter.
I'm not. No.
I mean,
No.
Drew is down in 9th place right now. I'm a little bit disappointed. I would have expected him to be further up the field.
Yeah, especially with that 105% aggression score as well.
I'm just to let you all know. So, as just anyone who's new to the broadcast here, just joining us, this is a mixture of AI and human drivers in this. In GTP, which is your Cadillac, and in the GTD, which is the Porsche, that is all AI drivers. In LMP3, though, we've got that mixture of AI and human drivers, and well, Keenan is making some moves here, Peter, up to 6th place in class right now.
Yeah, he's the closest, and he's very close to 5th place behind Kevin Iannarelli at the moment, trying to make some moves. So yeah, good job from Keenan so far.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Why did you guys say anything? Why would you do that? You know what happens.
Literally, I heard like Keenan's going for a move. I'm like, well, this isn't gonna work, right? It's something bad's about to happen to me. And then there was one. Go on, Cisco, be free.
The curse of the commentator strikes again, Peter.
That was a pretty pure strain of the commentator's curse there. Yeah.
It's a high street value on that commentator's curse right there. But yeah, Keenan, what happened?
I thought I had it clear. That's kind of not a really part of the track where you want to really go for a move, but I was like, well, I'm running. I want to get to the lead as soon as I can before they start pulling away. And I don't know if I bounced off the inside curbing or what, but we just ignored each other. I think I hit a bump on the inside and just drifted to the left. It's okay, we'll get back.
I love that racing driver excuse. I went for, let's be honest, a bit of a marginal move, and then we doored each other. No, it's a one-way street.
You're right. It was Steve Myers I hit, so it was 100% my fault. I take full blame for that.
Well, Cisco's trying to get back at Steve for you, if any consolation.
I softened him up.
He's raising a grievance right now.
This is going to be more phone calls to HR. Now, the GTPs are running through the GTDs. Oh, there was a bit of a dive there. Was that Bauer?
They'll do that.
It was Kim is getting involved, and Drew's dropped down the order in GTP.
Oh, it's getting messy. Getting messy as the cars try to coexist. This is the first time in the race.
Oh, no.
Oh, big wreck. Big wreck. The GTPs and Porsche 992s still trying to figure out where each other's quicker. There's actually not that much difference in lap time considering the power. It's only 5 seconds a lap difference. So, I mean, a little bit more than that, but actually 9 seconds on the best laps. But last time by only 5 seconds. Shows you how much time the GTPs are losing getting through that traffic.
I have got a story about Greg West, but it can't be told on stream, unfortunately. As he's running through in 7th place there. I'll tell you off stream, Peter. It'll be fine. But yeah, the GTPs working their way through the GTD traffic, and you are right. The lap times, they're not that different, really. I mean, 1:18.0 for Bauer at the front the last lap, and 1:27.3 from your GTDs in the top one.
Yeah, there's a 9-second delta between the GTP car and the GTD machines, and a lot of that is on the straightaway. I mean, that Cadillac has got so much boogie through the more slower technical sections. The GTD car, the Porsche, is really, really good. It's the 36 machine in GTD. Greg West holding a very defensive line there on Chris Leone. So yeah, very much in the running it as safe as possible, trying to cover off the line. And there's a bit of a train of Porsches holding up behind Greg West as he continues to throw that defensive line.
Hey, Booth.
Alex Horn is all the way at the back as well. Cisco, we've got a copy. You're calling the booth?
Yeah, I'm calling the booth. Where are they stuck behind traffic right now? Where are they on track?
That's a very good question. We're not getting those pictures, unfortunately.
Oh, Keenan's hit the wall again.
It's a tactical move. Don't worry about it.
Am I seeing? No, I'm not seeing. No, Keenan, you haven't dropped back a lap, so you're obviously back up to pace now with Steve Myers.
That is true.
You're going for revenge, aren't you?
That would be irresponsible and immature. And I would argue foolish, but we do have the GTPs to us now. So, never mind. Hold on.
Going for the switcheroo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
GTP traffic. GTP leader right behind. There you see it. And, oh, Keenan. That sounds very
Ryan Bauer, you can hear the artificial intelligence Ryan Bauer getting out of my way, peasant.
Ryan wouldn't talk to me like that. He'd be like, can you please move? If not, that's cool, but I would really appreciate if you moved, maybe, perhaps. If they set up his AI
the
correctly.
wall as I come by.
All right, attempt number 3.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's what we're seeing right now from Keenan. But, see, I'm almost, Peter, I'm almost sort of hesitant to bring any of the others in here, like Ian, because Ian's making a bit of a recovery drive. And I'm just saying this because I'm about to promote an accident that's about to happen.
Yeah, that's a good reason for the director to go onto the Car 24 leashing.
Why would you do that?
Yep, there you go. There it is.
The second you say anything.
I thought you were with me because I was 3 wide with GTPs in the middle. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was you. My bad.
No, I swear, like every time I'm faxed up, like there's a button they can hit that just tells the AI in front of me to brake check me into whatever corner we're going into, like without fail, every single time. Bauer.
Who knew Ryan Bauer was so aggressive?
Well, Ian's got a bit of trouble coming up behind him now because he's got the rest of the GTPs.
Oh, boy.
They're working their way through here.
Yeah, here comes the gang, lads.
Just take a deep breath. Oh. Yeah, just take a deep breath and you know.
And start chanting, please don't hit me, please don't hit me,
Yes.
please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
Evan's going past. I mean, he's polite as Evan. I wouldn't ever expect him to do anything.
A bit of a
Next
squeeze
car,
from
though.
Susan Flint there.
Yeah.
You'll get that. Oh.
Looking forward in LMP3. Nim Cross, second place right now. And everybody on track, Peter, is going to be judging his driving standards.
Or particularly his paint scheme. Of course, here on the iRacing simulator, you can go in and paint the car exactly how you want. For the Cadillacs, actually, you can include the 3 official liveries from the IMSA GTP class. I've got the Whelan engineering livery on mine, but Nimcross, he's gone for the radioactive snot on his. That's an interesting call.
That is.
I know the Volt car is brighter than that. Volt car is definitely brighter than that.
It is distinct, isn't it, Peter? I think is the word that we're looking for.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. But eye-catching, nonetheless. And then we have the hunting Ninja Turtle, a couple of cars further back as well, with Tony Gardner.
Yeah, Nulka's not that far back. It's our own Cisco Scaramuza, 5th place, has been working up. That's what? 7 places gained, Cisco.
Sorry, Susan. Oh, jeez. There's 2. Evan, why? Sorry.
The curse continues.
So what? Evan. So Evan happened. So we have a new spotter line, by the way. They did update. Oh my God. Zach.
See, we haven't talked to Ryan, and he just went purple. It all tracks. Part of the plan.
Part of the plan.
I was going to try and say that there is a new spotter line. They added a bunch in the last build, and one of them was faster cars approaching. Yeah, you don't say.
Is it helpful? Is it helpful for you to have that extra spotter line now?
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting to have to. Uh-oh. Oh, this is going to. Oh, no, not too wide.
It gets the old anxiety flowing.
Yes, it does.
Oh, no.
Well, this is helping you, Cisco, because you're catching up to Tony now.
Dive bomb him, Cisco. Go on, go for it. There's definitely a gap there. Oh.
There? What are you, nuts?
You're in a prototype. You're supposed to dive bomb people and then take
that's
the
the whole
I
other
didn't
way
map my
forward.
headlight button.
Oh, that's a grave mistake, Cisco. Oh,
Sean Ambrose is plugged in there.
Oh no! Oh my goodness, that car was nearly out of control.
Cisco!
Oh, that's impressive. What a move! Down the inside. Come on, you can stick this.
Yeah!
Traffic giveth and traffic taketh away.
Well, it certainly gave for Siska. Now he's got to hold on to that place.
Steve Myers just put me in the wall, all on his own. What have I done to you, Steve? Other than see, I always knew Drew was my friend. Just put Steve in the wall for me. What a guy.
Well, I mean,
there's a lot of people getting put in a lot of walls.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, trust the process. Just trust the process.
We do have plenty of walls to
everyone
choose
else
from.
in the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, what wall do you want? Do you want this wall? Do you want that wall? And we got all these stickers up as well. Oh, boy.
I just, do you know what my favourite part of doing these broadcasts, Peter, is the absolute panic that you hear in somebody's voice all of a sudden when somebody throws a dive down the inside. It's my favourite part of this because you get to find out just how people deal with pressure.
Especially, well, and brake pressure specifically, because if it's a car without ABS, you know that it's an ambitious move. They're going to lock the brakes at some point. They're like, oh, no. And that's when, when you feel that first pinch of the brake locking up, you know that it's a wrecking ball job.
Just know the Thunderdome is coming.
Thunderdome?
The GTDs, they're all keeping
Oh
themselves
my God.
very
Cute, why?
organized.
That's not a passing zone, man. They changed that part of the track, but that is not a passing zone still.
Oh, it's all of them. Oh, it's all of them.
Is this like cops at Silverstone?
Yes.
I'm just going to let them go. You guys have fun. I'm good back here.
By the way, we're looking at GTD. We're actually not looking anywhere near to... Oh, there we go. We'll come back to Cisco, but well, Drew Adamson... Oh, now, this could get very interesting. Drew Adamson and Cisco Scaramuza.
Do I want to be able to be let into the apartment this weekend?
I'm amazed that the Drew Adamson AI is... I was amazed he's not absolutely slamming the headlight flasher right now. If there was a horn on that car, he would be using it.
Oh, that was a very, very abrupt late defense there from Cisco.
Hey, he's got too much there.
Yeah, you're playing with fire there, Cisco.
Yeah.
Oh, he's wide open. Thank you, Drew.
American muscle, baby.
Well, look
Beats
at
your
that.
French and Japanese.
Look at that. Cisco round the outside of 2, inside of 1, outside of 2. That's up to 3rd place, Cisco. You're on the podium.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
A lot of race left.
Well, I mean, Ian's not that far back. He's been quietly doing this. So, Ian, when are you going to put it in the wall again?
If I keep doing that every single corner, probably very soon. That was a little too bold.
Well, I mean, you've been moving forward. You've been making gains here, though. You're up to 4th now, behind your teammate.
Oh, we'll get them. We'll get them. There's the interpersonal competition between all of us at Team Rick. Where, like, we don't care who, like, if you win the race, cool, get to P1, you get that glow. But to be P1 of the Ricks, that is, like, the ultimate prize between us. So, like, I have a target on the back bumper of Cisco Scaramuza right now. Oh, and he feels it. Oh, he feels it. Get over here, Cisco.
Well, Peter, I think we're going to be getting a protest. Oh! Cisco and Nib!
Fence! Oh! Crosses the fence! We got a roadblock! We got a roadblock! Oh no!
I'm overtaking someone.
Oh no!
I was right, wasn't I, Peter? I was sensing a protest was going to be coming on Nib.
Oh my goodness!
We've seen it.
Oh, did I cause a problem?
That's a very British comment there.
Was that a problem?
It's just normal Chicago traffic. It's fine.
Baltimore in, I think it was 2011, 2013, that sort of time. And there was a full-on track blockage, Macau style. And Cisco Scaramuza has just made Chicago folklore before they even started racing here.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They're not going to let me back.
My everlasting memory of a track blockage was at Watkins Glen with the Porsche race, Peter.
Oh,
at
yeah.
the top of the S's. That was an expensive accident.
classic spot for it. Well, we had it in the Watkins Glen 6 hour. 6 hours of the Glen a couple of years ago as well. When I remember one of the Corvette C7s at that time getting pancaked in the wall and it all getting blocked up. So luckily we got the damage switched off. That was the stroke of genius from Cisco Scaramuza. I mean, because if he hadn't flicked that switch, there was about 10 LMP3s getting taken out the race there.
Look, I know what the budget was going to be for this race, and there are a lot of LMP3 teams here, and
truck has only got so many front bumpers on it.
Exactly, and we don't have cars doing donuts in stereo this time, but I knew what I was signing myself up for.
Now, we've been asked a question in the Twitch chat. Thank you very much, Twitch chat, for giving us this one. Is there a way to add ballast or power restrictions to the AI yet? I feel that's a Cisco question.
Not that I know of. Actually, you could do it, I think, if it was a specific car, because I believe you can add that to cars themselves when you set up the hosted. Yeah. So I think that's how much you can do right now. So if you want to ballast like the whole field of insert car here, you can do that. But I don't think you can set it for individual drivers yet. But to be fair, you could probably adjust their relative skill. You didn't see that. You could adjust their relative skill to sort of act as a ballast probably, and accomplish it that way basically, and just turn the relative skill. Because, the skill margin is going to be whatever you set up for the AI session and the hosted session. But the relative skill determines where they are in the field of AI cars. So that'd probably be the way to do it.
Thank you very much. There you go, skillfully answered whilst racing, Peter. I mean, multi-skilling and multitasking from Cisco Scaramuza.
It was. I'm thinking of the GTDs. Seth Whitaker and Christian Challoner are in their own universe right now in car 3 and car 78 in the Porsches. Just 3 seconds separating them. Then there's 13 seconds back, all the way back to the 00 of Ben Regan and Kevin Bobbitt, who are fighting over that last spot on the podium. Really scary part of the circuit in these GTP cars. No problem for Sean Ambrose coming through McDonald's driveway 1 and 2, also known as East Jackson Drive. I think I prefer our version.
Do you guys see the Ian? Are you seeing the track debris on the side? I'm seeing a bunch of someone's thrown out a water bottle. I see that. You see the fan? Oh, he's trying to climb on the fence. Quick, we need a caution right now. We need a caution right now.
As I'm approaching the back bumper of the leader, do we really need a caution?
Yeah, I think we need a caution.
Oh boy.
Cisco, throw that caution.
It's almost as
Someone's
if...
dropped the tissue at turn 12.
I was going to say, Ian, do you want me to wait 5 minutes before we throw the caution? Or
how much time do we have left in this race?
Well, there's 18 minutes remaining in this race.
This is a matter of safety.
Yes.
Honestly, if there is that tissue on the outside of, what was it, turn 3, that is a big detriment to the safety of the race car drivers.
Really, if you touch a tire on that,
oh darn! Oh, Barney, Barney, I've got him now. Yeah, Barney's got it.
Put it out.
Oh, the caution's out! Oh, my goodness!
Whoa, didn't see that coming. Whoa, what's going on?
Would it help or hurt everybody's immersion if I got into a massive accident right now?
Are you all right there, Keenan? Do you need help?
I think I'm about to have a puncture.
Is your arm itchy there, Keenan?
Oops.
Wait.
Oh no! I have hit the wall. There has to.
Oh no!
Oh my legs.
We gotta repair the barrier now.
Yeah.
Well, the pace car has picked up Bauer, but we'll start with you, Keenan. How have you been finding this race, this session?
I mean, our AI in our class is actually a really good fight. What I was really surprised about is obviously me and Steve Myers have had our run-ins, but as I got back to his AI again, he knew the corners that I was going to dive in. Obviously, the dives didn't work, but the AI at least had learned, like, hey, dum-dum behind me is about to send it. I better block. So I went for the same move for a third time, and Steve said no. So that was something I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's really smart of them, actually. So maybe the AI takeover is sooner than we thought.
let's go to Ian because he's actually second in class right now. I mean, Ian, you've been having fun out there, just quietly going about things until we talk to you and then you crash. I mean, do you find having to talk to commentators whilst you're racing is really detrimental to your racing?
I'm glad I don't have a motion rig while you're talking to me as I'm trying to converse in race pace, because I'd be going, yeah, the car is going really great. Oh, there's my filling. Oh, there goes my right tooth. Oh, there goes my molar. It's a bit of a challenge. I'm not much of a multitasker. If everyone knows me from Team Rick, when they put me in the car, I usually mute and just put my head down. Somebody sneezes and I go, oh, and I crash into the wall almost every single time. So, like, I'm not good under pressure. Leave me alone, Keenan. No, Keenan.
We'll go to Ryan because Ryan, I mean, you were pretty much all the way at the back of the field near the start of the race. You've been working your way back through that field. How are you finding it on the streets of Chicago?
Well, I had to personally inspect and clean all the mouths of all of the Porsche drivers as I made my way through the field. So they're good. They have brand new free toothbrushes, so they're good to go. I was just starting to make my way through the other Ligiers when that yellow came out. I was actually really having a good time.
We have got pit stops ongoing, by the way, and drivers are getting a little bit held up here right now. And GTD, Cisco, there's cars losing rear wings in the queue of cars. They're all getting a little bit checked up here and a little bit too aggressive into the rear of others.
It's tough out there. Yeah, no, just, the rush hour traffic. What time is it in Chicago local time right now? 4 o'clock? Yeah, everyone's getting out of work and, they just turn it into pit road and just clogging up the road. So, that's just normal traffic hours here.
Well, Angela and Drew from the GTP field have been on pit road, and Dave Kamer has been on pit road as well in the LMP3. I mean, Peter, we saw it in the last happy hour, didn't we? That pit stops can have an effect.
Yeah, because 45 minutes around here, you're at the limit of what a GTP car can do, because it really is lots of big, heavy acceleration zones, big, heavy brakings, repeated over and over again. So, I wonder if the GTP cars, do they have enough fuel in the tank to get them to the end? It depends how long this absolutely necessary caution goes on for.
Well, one thing I will say, this is a key point to make, is that in a hosted session like this, if you're an admin of the session, which Cisco Scaramuza is,
working on it,
you can choose when to go green on these cautions, or even to throw a caution to pack the field up.
Lights are out. Lights are out. Here we go, boys.
Oh, tissue's up. It's off the ground. We're good to go.
And it's double file. Oh, boy.
Oh, Keenan, I just realized we're going to be fighting through the Porsches and each other on this restart, so here we go.
Godspeed.
Peter, I have a funny feeling that we're going to be seeing an enforced caution coming up very shortly with this being a double file restart.
Quite possibly. I think you're now about to see the incredible iRacing damage model in all its glory in just a moment. Set your watches. Damage we're
what the?
Drew?
Did he just take control of his car? What happened there?
And we're under green flag conditions again. Barney is waving the green, and Ryan Bauer once again gets a good launch from the front as they go 2x2 through turn number 1, drifting the Cadillac through turn number 1. I mean, I didn't see it as a drift car, but Peter, these AI are really pushing the car to extremes.
Yeah, Ryan Bauer's getting it all hung out there in the big Cadillac GTP machine. And the problem is, we are further back in the field. We've got the LMP3s that got to try and get their way through the GTD cars, and there's really not that big a difference in lap time between them. They make their lap time in different ways, so this is going to get really busy for these LMP3 cars as Cisco gets into the back of the pink car there.
That's right.
Trying to find his way through, and look, his eyes wide open, as wide as Grant Park.
Oh my, what a dive on, oh boy, 2 of them.
You left the door open there, Cisco. Come on, grow some elbows.
Uh-oh.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Oh,
We've
Oh,
had
that was
smoke.
three.
Oh,
Oh,
a bit of a
uh-oh.
check up there. Able to carry on, but Ian's going away at the front. Otto's with him, but then the rest of the LMP3s are just all in a queue here, Peter.
They are, because this part of the circuit here coming around by East Congress Plaza Drive, it's it's much tighter, much more one line, and yeah, the LMP3s really find it difficult to get by some of the GTD cars, and that by one another also. And also, as they go through the GTD cars, the difference in pace between the fastest and the slowest drivers is quite distinct. Ryan Bauer, he's been the man with all the pace so far, all day in the GTP class. He's got Susan Flint, who's made her way through the field. Can Susan bring in a surprise victory here? And really, Bauer had it all in hand, but with that caution,
Hey, Peter,
dropped from his grasp. Yes.
do we know that Bauer is using the correct amount of electricity? Are we sure he hasn't gone over his limit? Can somebody check that car?
Well, I was either that, or he's just running those tire pressures really close to the limit, maybe.
I understood that reference.
Yeah.
If you are wondering, by the way, who Susan Flint is, if you've never heard of her, she's only the iRacing Director of Customer Support, so you've got to be nice to Susan.
Can I soapbox for a minute, Paul? Because this is something, oh boy, that I always tell everyone, and I have my 5 minutes of fame here. Support. If you ever have questions, for the love of God, talk to support. They're fantastic. They know their stuff. If you ever have an issue, seriously, talk to support. They're around all the time. You can reach them over email. I think we have chat bots. There's a phone number you can call. If you ever have anything come up, please contact support. And it's not Drew's personal number. It's an actual, support number.
Yeah, and fortunately I don't work on that support lines, because otherwise you'd just get some Northern Yorkshireman saying, I don't know, have you tried switching it off and on again?
Yeah, you'd get the same from me, to be honest.
Oh, here we go, race to the lead, Peter!
Yeah, change for the lead indeed. And a little bit of contact there between Flint and Bauer. And Flint just checking up ever so slightly around this really fast left-hander. Then you've got to try and somehow get a little bit of speed scrubbed off with a right-hander through McDonald's drive-through 1 and then up through McDonald's drive-through 2.
Yeah. It's the last corner of the track, so Susan Flint then to the head of the field, ahead of Ryan Bauer. Jay Kennedy is in third place. It's early in the morning for Jay, but fortunately his AI self is the one who's taking part in this one, so he doesn't have to get up early. I think we have got a little bit of drama further back. Oh, we've got a track blockage, Peter!
Yeah, I'll have a double, no fries, number 6 with extra dip, 2 number 45s, please. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? We're racing. How's it going?
Keenan, what did you do?
Spaghetti. Rear tires were not made out of rubber there for a minute.
That's amore.
And I was like, oh, well, I'll see if I can, lay off the brake and roll back onto my, to go straight. And then I saw a pink car and went, I have wronged my friend here.
I tried my best to straighten you up.
You did.
Look, what we don't need is a replay from my perspective, okay? We don't need to look at it from my perspective. I did nothing wrong.
If we can queue up a replay from Cisco's perspective, there is what I'm hearing.
Roll replay, car 885. Ian Plash, though. Ian, car number 24, channeling his inner Jeff Gordon, leading by 4.2 seconds.
Who's moving? Of course, I'll let you talk to me.
Yes, we're gonna talk
here we go into the bottom pass. We're good. All right, we're safe. Oh no, it almost happened. It's every single time you hit those bumps on the apex right before that little tunnel into the right-hander. It's just you're all 4 wheels off the ground. You're a passenger. You get it straight or you die every time. It's so tough.
It would be crazy if someone spun through there. And
would it be crazy?
Oh, huge wreck! Scaramuza in the fence. I've said that before.
The old psychic takedown, boys. It works every time.
Crisscross.
Oh, do you know what? It's handy that escape road is there, Peter. or else that would have been a very ugly ending.
Yes, Cisco's that was his shortcut on the way home from school when he was a kid. Yeah, so he knows that area well. Let's take a look at that one, Paul.
Well, I don't know what replay we're going to get, quite frankly, because there's been so much happening in this. Let's have a look then at the replay and just see what we've got. So through this section and then back end, bang, into one, bang, up, oh my goodness, onto two wheels.
Holy LMP3, Batman.
Well, I mean, it's not got Red Bull colours on it, so we can't say it gives him wings, but certainly tried his best to go flying there.
Oh dear. Oh dear. What a pity there.
There's a Nick DeVries joke in there somewhere, isn't there?
There was a lot of that around. Well, Ian Plashy's hanging on for now, leading by 4.7 seconds. So,
he's got this in the bag.
He does. He can just cruise it home from here. You can just relax, open up a chocolate bar, one hand on the steering wheel, not an issue.
You know, funny that actually, I might have a chocolate bar on here somewhere. I could.
Yeah, get it going.
Oh no, I'd have to stand up for it.
That corner where you have the ba. When you come out the corner, if you get it right, you're just like, I'm loving it.
I am, yeah. It's either I'm loving it or it's no, I didn't like that. I did not like that. 9 times out of 10, it is I did not like that.
Well, I mean, one thing I will say is if you're going to be having a chocolate bar, what you want is a nice, refreshing beverage. And why not the nice, refreshing taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar? Mm-hmm. You can certainly get that down your throat there. Of course, Coca-Cola, the title sponsor of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, which, of course, we'll be seeing around here as well. Don't forget as well to log on to iRacing.com. If you're seeing this and thinking this looks fun, well, why not join us? iRacing.com, 40% off all new memberships right now. And what we are seeing right now, Peter, is Ryan Bauer is dropping down and basically a big cork in the bottle.
Yeah, that caution has really not been kind to the number 7 of Ryan Bauer. And of course, these AI races, as soon as you sign up, you can go straight into one of those races and get yourself up to speed, get a feel for the simulator, how it runs, how it feels in the car, and most importantly of all, buy this Cadillac GTP car. It is the coolest car on the service, in my opinion. It's just got an amazing power delivery. It sounds amazing. It's actually easier to drive than you'd think. It's a fast car, but it's so fun.
Now, we won't be able to answer this question, but I am going to address it. You know, we were asked in the Twitch chat, the iRacing Developing Rain, is real-time weather option a possibility down the road? Unfortunately, we don't have the developers of Rain here to be able to answer that. So, unfortunately, we don't know. We're just the broadcast team here. So, what I would do is get onto the forums, on the iRacing forums, and ask that question.
And also, when Knock Hill in Scotland was scanned and introduced, and that was one of the best days ever, when my home circuit was brought to life on the iRacing platform, I thought, well, rain's got to be coming at some point, because you can't really have a fully authentic Knock Hill experience without some good rain.
And if that rain does come in, then you've got to be able to say whether it's a 2 bridge or 1 bridge or no bridge weather, haven't you?
Exactly that, Paul. See, you've been listening to Knock Hill FM on the live stream. You're not just around the circuit 93.7, but actually around the world on knockhill.com.
What a self-plug. What a self-plug. We got to charge him for that after this.
Cisco, you just concentrate on keeping out of the wall now. Come on.
I tell you what, Linus Sebastian would be proud of that segue. I really do think so. 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining in this race. So, to our human drivers, if you are going to be making some moves, well, Ian doesn't need to worry about that, but Ryan, Keenan, Cisco, get the moves done now.
This has been an amazing drive by Ian Plash. What a performance. He's not put a foot wrong, and Ian Plash right now has a 4.4 second lead. A commanding
I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do.
And 11 seconds to go.
I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're not slick. You're not slick. You know what would be fun, though?
Oh, wait. He's got a punch. No.
Oh, hold on a second. Whoa, what's going on here? Whoa. It'd be crazy if Ryan Burton, Keenan Kusin, and Cisco Scaramouza decided to form with me on the left side of the course out of the exit of turn number 1 for a one-lap shootout.
Oh,
Pretty wild.
no, we can't be
Oh, it was Ryan Burton. This is Burton.
It's a yellow flag, right?
Burton, get back here.
Ryan, no, he just wants to lead. Yeah, he's leading the yellow field. Just wanted to lead a lap.
This is the plan. This
Gotta
is
give
the
him a bonus
plan.
points.
They've got to ruin this, right? I mean, I will say, by the way, Seth Whitaker, the leader in GTD. Seth, of course, the marketing web developer for iRacing. So, white flag is in the air. One more run around this 2.1 mile venue here, Peter. It's certainly been an intriguing race.
Oh my God!
Looking at the lap times, Keenan Kusin's best, a 120.7, his best lap in class by a long way. And actually, 1.3 seconds quicker than his teammate Ian Plash's best, but an eventful race has taken a result from his grasp.
Man, if I would have stopped ordering
Susan
2 McDoubles for $5, what I could have done is got a biggie bag.
Are available. Susan Flint is at the front of GTP, by the way. Oh, leaving a nice 11s around the corner there. And, well, we've got mixing classes here. We've got GTD, we've got LMP3, we've got GTP, all trying to work their way through and trying to sort themselves out. But Susan, with one more corner to go, is going to see the checkered flag. And that's going to be a race win then for Susan Flint here in this race around the streets of Chicago. You're leading LMP3, Peter, is Otto Zabini. And, well, that's a real turn up for the books after the lead that Ian had.
Ian, heartbreak for Ian Plash, a puncture on the last lap, taking him out of that commanding lead. It's heartbreak for Plash. But a little bit of consolation for Keenan Kusin with the fastest lap in class, a 120.7. I can now admit that I couldn't. It took me a few laps to go quicker than that in the Cadillac GTP car with significantly more horsepower and performance, but nevertheless.
Plan D after the flag, boys. Plan D.
Plan D.
2485. Did you let him win? I just need to make sure. My tickets are safe. Are my tickets safe?
Seth Whitaker in GTD is coming across the line to take the checkered flag in that Porsche 911 GT3R, the 992 car. But, well, that certainly was an entertaining race. And the question is, did the Team Rick plan work?
Well, the Team Rick plan was to do a one-lap shit within the forest, but then Ryan Burton betrayed the plan.
I don't know. It seems like the plan's working pretty well.
Well, it's working pretty good so far. Plan D is working great, though. We just need the fourth one to get in here. Get over. Oh, you let him by.
Well, I can't. I can't do everything.
We're here. Oh, no.
We good? Oh, saw Cisco go flying in the distance in the background.
All right, left side, Cisco, left side.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Lock him, hold him up.
Well,
see, we're not getting them back to scrutineering. They're just not allowed to get back to the pits.
Coming left.
Well,
all right, we're good. They ain't passing us now.
They're getting held up by Team Rick. I mean, it only took you until after the checkered flag to make that plan work.
This is going to be difficult. I don't know how we're going to navigate this section like this, but we'll
with
try.
difficulty.
Cisco. Yeah, that was smart.
Well, I mean, Peter, we're watching this go on, but everybody at home who's got an iRacing account, they can do AI racing today.
That they can set up whatever parameters you want around and invite your friends to come in and compete against the AI as well. You can do that as well. But our results, Susan Flint, what a win that was, Paul.
Certainly was, ahead of Jay Kennedy by 7.1 seconds, and Zach Johnson in third. Evan Pasoko, who was in the top 3 earlier on, finishes in 4th ahead of Hugh Tran. Then Sean Ambrose, Sarah Radford, Ryan Bauer, Kim and Drew rounding out the top 10. In your LMP3s, Otto Zabini then, who does win that class. Ahead of Ryan Burton, Ian Plash, Keenan Curson. So 3 of Team Rick all together there. 2 of them on the podium with Steve Myers, Kevin, Dave Kamer and Brian Simpson rounding out the top 20 finishers. Cisco Scaramuza outside the top 20, just not quite working out for him today. But he did finish ahead of him, so that's the main thing. Seth Whitaker, your winner in GTD ahead of Penn Reagan. And then Christian Challoner, 3rd place in class. Rest of the results coming through on screen. Kevin Bobbitt there in the top 5 of class. Well, Peter, that was fun.
Certainly was, yeah, and 3 really cool cars there around the Chicago street circuit. Great to see some action out there as well, and so cool that in 7 days' time, or just over 7 days' time, we're going to see the NASCAR Cup Series go and race here on the circuit, which iRacing had such an involvement in creating in the virtual world, and then it's going to go to the real world. And of course, we've got the NASCAR Coke Series in the virtual world here on iRacing, going racing on Monday night on this track as well. Who's going to come out on top there? I'll wait and see.
Yep, certainly. The eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, June 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you join the team for that broadcast. That's certainly going to be some good racing. And of course, we have got the Off-Road World Championship as well, the iRacing Off-Road Series. That's going to be coming up starting on the 28th of June as well, so day after that eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. But that is all that we have got time for you here today on iRacing Happy Hour. From everybody behind the scenes, from the commentary team of Terry Radford, of James Pike, Peter Mackay and myself, Paul Smith. And also our human drivers as well, Cisco Scaramuza, Ian Plash, Keenan Curson, and of course, Ryan Burton. We wish you all a very good evening.